Amidst all the offseason and free agency talk that's been going on, there's been one team that has really stood out to me in the news, and it's for a ton of reasons. The Los Angeles Lakers are definitely entering a new era and have been the talk of the league so far this free agency. This was headlined with the news of LeBron James telling the team that he will not be returning next season and will be entering free agency. I wouldn't say this came as a big shock to anyone. It kind of seemed like the signs are pointing in that direction for the last couple weeks now, and I think that's what was expected from pretty much everybody, that he was going to be leaving, going to a new team. So now everyone's just sitting here waiting to see what he wants to do. But the only thing that we can do is rule out one team, that being the Los Angeles Lakers, but who knows where he ends up. But that's not why I'm filming this video. I'm filming this video because of how the Lakers have approached free agency and pretty much gave Luka everything he wanted, kickstarting a new era in LA. There was a tweet that came out when the Lakers were eliminated, so we're talking about what their offseason updates were. I just gotta find it here. Pretty much it said that the team promised Luka Doncic a balanced roster, similar to his title run with the Mavs, and that Luka wanted to play with Austin Reeves long term, and not to include him in any trade talks. This is when they were thinking about trading for Giannis. Obviously that didn't happen. So it was definitely a priority of theirs to keep Austin Reeves around. And as we all saw, they signed him to that massive extension, keeping him around long term. Another thing that came out a couple weeks ago was that Luka was asking the team for an A-list center to play with. I guess Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton weren't cutting it. Shocker. But going into free agency, we saw that DeAndre Ayton accepted his player option, so he will be on the team next year, unless they decide to trade him further down the line this offseason. But Jackson Hayes' contract was up, and he was entering free agency. It actually just came out that he signed with the Jazz for 2 years, so he will no longer be on the roster next year. Luka loses his Slovenian brother. I'm sure he's heartbroken by that. But honestly, the Lakers have been getting extremely busy in free agency this year. They did end up losing Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart, who went to new teams, on new deals. Unfortunately, they weren't able to keep Marcus Smart around. He was a huge get for them last offseason, provided really good point guard minutes for them all year, especially in the playoffs. He had a couple of really big games for them. And Luke Kennard came out and basically won them 2 playoff games. They traded for him at the deadline, was one of the only players that was able to hit threes on this team, except for Rui Hachimura in the corner, obviously. That's his hotspot. That's another guy who's gone as well. He's currently a free agent, so I'm not sure where he ends up. He's definitely going to get too much money. The Lakers will not be able to afford him, especially after what they've done so far. So yeah, they ended up losing those 3 guys, and those are 3 very key players on their team. But as a report started to come out yesterday as free agency was approaching, it definitely seemed like the Lakers were serious about improving this roster and giving Luka a team that they promised him. There was talks of them being in discussion with Jalen Duren and a sign-and-trade type of situation. They were linked to Walker Kessler for what seems like the millionth season in a row. I feel like he just keeps getting jersey swapped into Lakers jerseys. There was talks of Domantas Sabonis. Just 3 really solid big men that Luka was obviously asking for. So the Lakers definitely had some urgency to bring in a solidified big man for the roster. And that is exactly what they did. The Lakers came out early Wednesday morning and announced that they had traded for Walker Kessler, giving away their 2031 first-round pick and 2033 first-round pick, as well as pick swaps in 2028 and 2030. This means that the Lakers now have no tradable first-round picks for the next 7 years. So their ability to improve through the trade market and all that stuff is kind of gone now, which is unfortunate for this team that may need to still make some moves via trade, especially with their cap table. But outside of all that, they use those picks to acquire Walker Kessler and then sign him to a 4-year, $130 million deal with the Lakers. This gives the Lakers their true solidified center that they haven't really had in the last few years. And he is exactly the type of player that will be perfect for Luka. You know, a lob threat big that will play really good defense out of the hoop, one of the best shot blockers in the league. Only played 3 games last year due to shoulder stuff. And that's probably the biggest question about this is he able to stay healthy throughout the entire year with his shoulder injuries and his history of injuries as a whole. I think this is a great scenario for the Lakers and Luka Doncic. This might be the best big man that he's ever played with from a defensive minded set. Luka hasn't really had like a super lockdown defensive big. I mean, he had Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, but they were in and out of the lineup. They weren't super consistent offensively, but I don't think either of them are really at the level of shot blocking and rim protection and paint presence that Walker Kessler has. This is a massive get for this team. They started their free agency off with a bang by bringing him in. This kind of solidifies their big 3 core as the Lakers land a signature A-list center to pair with guards Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, creating the new big 3 in LA. They then followed this up with signing Mamu, who recently declined his player option with the Raptors, to a 4-year, $52 million deal, which I think is like $12 or $13.5 million a year AAV. A great backup big, or even starting power forward if he has to be for this team. He showed to have great value with the Raptors last year off the bench, and whenever he had to start, he produced honestly tremendously, and definitely became a fan favorite, showing off the ability to stretch the floor, play defense, a little bit undersized, but has also shown an ability to be a point forward type of center, which is a really solid skill set to have in today's NBA. This may be a little bit overpay for a guy like Mamu. I know he was really solid last year, but that was really his first solid year in the league. So to go out and give him a 4-year, $52 million deal off one season is a little bit of a stretch, but hey, the Lakers knew what they had to do, and they got it done quickly. They then followed this one up by making honestly what I think is a splash signing in Quentin Grimes. They bring Quentin Grimes on a 4-year, $60 million deal with a $50 million AAV. And I've seen a lot of stuff about people saying this is an overpay and he's not worth all that. I think $50 million for a guy like Quentin Grimes is incredible. He's one of the better role-playing 3-and-D wings in the league and has the ability to be a ball handler when he has to. I know they have a ton of that on the team already with Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. But now they have a third option if they want to start him or let him play on the bench a little bit to be a secondary ball handler. I think this is a massive gift for them. Definitely an improvement from a guy like Luke Kennard. They have a solidified scoring option now at the wing position, which is an area that they were really lacking in, was wing depth and scoring depth at the wing there. He also brings in a great shooting asset for this team that was honestly a pretty bad shooting team last year. I love the signing Quentin Grimes in LA. I'm jealous. I wish he could have gone to the Warriors as a Warriors fan, but the Lakers got their guy, and I think this is going to be a huge benefit to them. And he gets to team up with Luka once again. So a little bit of familiarity there. They get their guy for Luka. Luka gets his guy back, and Quentin Grimes gets to play with his former point guard. I think it's best case scenario for him and for the team. This was then followed up with the signing of Colin Sexton. All of this happened in like 35 minutes. I saw a tweet that was like Adam Silver gave the Lakers 35 minutes to complete their offseason. And so this is why it all happened so fast. But yeah, in 35 minutes, they signed 4 guys. And it's 4 guys that I think are going to be key contributors in this team. They brought in Colin Sexton on a 2-year, $19 million deal. The second year playing a player option. I honestly think this is great value for Colin Sexton. I don't think it's an overpay at all. Was it $9.5 million a year? Yeah, I think it's perfect for what he does. He brings high intensity off the bench. Definitely the ability to score the ball. We've seen that in the past. No worries about what he's going to do on offense. And he's definitely a guy that will buy into the defensive identity that JJ Redick really wants to instill in this team. I think he's a perfect complementary guard to Luka Doncic coming off the bench, or if they want to start him. He honestly probably won't start with Austin Reeves there. He's definitely going to be like their 6th man. And I think he's one of the best 6-mans they could have in the league, especially for what they're trying to accomplish in LA. The Lakers now have a starting lineup that looks like Luka Doncic at the 1, Austin Reeves at the 2, Quentin Grimes at the 3, Mamu or Jared Vanderbilt at the 4, and then Walker Kessler at the 5. Honestly, I think that's a really solid lineup. They're definitely going to be a playoff team, probably another top 4 or 5 seed in the West. And that's all to go along with their addition of Cameron Carr in the first round, a tremendous prospect that will bring even more shooting to this roster. The Lakers definitely got busy and have really established a new era, a new culture in LA. Especially after the departure of LeBron, I think they filled in all the gaps pretty well. They're obviously going to get some hate because of the Lakers. Heck, I'm even going to hate on the team because I'm a Warriors fan. But I can't deny that they definitely did their thing this offseason. Rob Pelinka woke up and got busy. And that's something that he doesn't usually do. It is without a doubt the start of the Luka era in LA. And I wouldn't be surprised if the team starts to make some noise. I know they still have to get past the Thunder and the Spurs and all those top-heavy teams in the West there. But if this team keeps gelling together and meshing together, they could definitely make some noise in the playoffs. I don't know if it's a finals run right away, but Luka definitely now has a team around him that the Lakers promised him at the start of this offseason. The Lakers pretty much have addressed all of their needs with getting a solidified big man and more shooting and scoring on the wings. With all their pickups so far in the offseason, that includes drafting Cameron Carr. I don't think we'll be hearing from them much more. I know there was some talks about them stretching and waiving Jared Vanderbilt to bring in someone else because that would open up, I think, $7 million in cap space. Could be used to bring another role-playing option off the bench. But for now, the Lakers are absolutely getting busy, and I'm honestly really impressed with what they've done.